What's up everyone, it's Natalie here, and today I am filming a video about how I started my consulting business and all about that. We're getting into nitty-gritty details. If any of you guys are curious, are wanting to start your own consulting business, or just wanting to start kind of like a digital-based business in general, I think this video is going to be helpful for you, and I'm really excited to film this. This has been a very highly requested video since I announced my consulting services back, I believe in like September is when I announced it, maybe October. But it's been super highly requested and I am excited to jump right in. I wanted to thank Squarespace, which is the sponsor of today's video, and I will be talking about them just because they play such a huge role in how I started my business, but I did just want to say thank you to them for sponsoring this video. Okay, so before we get started into the how, I really want to talk about the why. Why did I get started doing a consulting business? For those of you guys that don't know, I have a consulting business where I do one-on-one consultations with individuals or with businesses, where I kind of help anyone with their personal branding, growing on YouTube, growing on social media, making social media into a business, and just building your brand. I also do help businesses with their marketing strategy, finding their audience, social media strategy, and all of that sorts. Okay, so the why. Why did I decide to start consulting? I think is a very important question when you are thinking of starting consulting, or when you think that you want to start consulting but you don't really know what exactly to pinpoint it on, like what do you consult exactly. So the way that I started was because I have always been the person that people go to when they are looking for advice with starting a YouTube, starting a blog, starting a website, anything social media related. People have come to me and asked me, how do I start that? Like, how do I make this successful? What do I do? Give me some advice. I'm talking about people in my personal life. I've even had friends' parents ask me because they're trying to start their Instagram, and I've been meeting with them and talking to them about it. I've met up with so many friends. I've helped so many friends start their YouTube channels, and I've always encouraged it. I have always been that friend that's like annoying, that's like, oh my god, you should start a YouTube channel. Like, without fail, I think I have literally told every single one of my friends that they should start a YouTube channel. I feel like because of that, a lot of people have felt comfortable asking me like, hey, can you give me some help with it? And I've always been one to be very willing to give people help and offering my help and my expertise, if you will, because I have been on YouTube for 9 years now. And then I also have been an influencer for a few years now. I mean, YouTube is my full-time job that I feel like I really have a good understanding of both sides, like the business side of it and being in front of the camera side as well, so with content creation. So I just thought it gave me an advantage, and I just really thought that this was something that I was good at. So I realized, I was like, wait, I really love this like marketing strategy. I love like coming up with these ideas. I could tell other businesses that, and then I can also help individuals, because I didn't see other like people doing consultations one-on-one with individuals as much. So I was like, I could do both. Like, I could do businesses and people, and that's what sparked the idea of how I should do consulting and why. So I encourage, if any of you guys are trying to start consulting, you don't know what to do, just think of things that you're already good at. Think of things that your friends come to you for. What is some advice that you're always giving? And that's kind of how you can think of what you can do with consulting. Consulting is the broadest term ever. So if you're trying to go into it, figuring out what people come to you for, I think is a really great start. My first step was honestly asking my followers and my audience already what they thought. And I know that you're gonna say that I have an advantage because I have already a following, and maybe some people starting out don't necessarily have a following. I think that anyone that has people in their life has some sort of following. Start reaching out to the people immediate in your life. Even if you have 100 followers on Instagram, ask them, what do they think about this? See if there's a need. Go on Reddit and ask people. See what is out there already and if people are looking for this. So if you're consulting, for example, on job application tips or whatever, and you see online that there's a ton of people that are asking and inquiring about job apps, and they have so many questions and they have personal experiences that they want to share, that could be a market for you. So I think that just really seeing your audience and your potential audience, I knew that my followers were going to be a potential audience of mine. Seeing if they would like your services, I think, is step number one. Step number two, scoping out other people in your industry, seeing what they're doing, what you can be doing better, what hole are you going to fill. You don't want to just do what everyone else is doing. You want to have a little bit of a different model. You don't only want to be the exact same thing, or why would they hire you versus this other person? Find out ways that you can differentiate yourself, check out other people in the industry, And then the next thing that I did, which is super important, is built my website. So this is where Squarespace really comes in handy. I built my website using Squarespace. I actually was on Squarespace prior to ever filming any videos with them, ever doing a sponsorship with them. I researched the best website hosts, and I had previously used actually a previous website host for my blog and also a previous website builder host for my online store, and they always had some issues. Like, maybe the online store one was really great for an online store, but if I ever wanted to do anything other than sell products, wasn't the best. The blog one was good for a blog, but if I ever wanted to do anything else, it wasn't the best. Squarespace has it all. I'm not just saying this because I'm sponsored. I'm saying this because I chose Squarespace over all the other website builders. The reason why I liked Squarespace is because it was customizable, and I knew that I wanted consultations, but I knew that this was just the first step. I eventually wanted to become an agency always and still help with consultations, but I knew that this was really just a temporary thing before I pivoted. I wanted to make sure that whatever website builder I decided on was able to be customized no matter which way I went, no matter which direction I went in. So that's why I really like that it's very customizable. So whether I had a blog, whether I had people scheduling me and people booking me, whether I had my services listed out, whether I wanted to show like case studies or a portfolio, Squarespace had the capability to do all of that and more, and all of that in one. It's not like you have to choose just an online store template and that's it. Like, you could do all of that just on Squarespace. I actually bought my theme off of Big Cat Creative. Big Cat Creative is a third-party site where you can buy a theme off of there for Squarespace alone, and they help you implement it into your own website. So basically, the base is a Squarespace theme, and then they tell you instructions on how to make it look like their own. So they'll give you like images to download, they'll tell you which settings to change and what colors to change them to, and how to make the website look like the one that you purchased pretty much, but it's still all using Squarespace. So my theme is an original Squarespace theme, but I wanted to highlight Big Cat Creative, which if you guys are looking for really pretty themes that you can really up your Squarespace game and customize your website, then definitely go to bigcatcreative.com. I paid $180 for my theme. That is a one-time purchase, and I'm really happy with it. So now, how did I launch / how long did it take me to launch? I came up with the idea that I wanted to start this consulting services around May, beginning of the summer, and I didn't upload or launch, I believe, until October. It took me a long time. The way that I did it though is that I worked backwards. I probably didn't actively start like hustling hard at this until probably around July, I will say, and then I was moving, so that took up a lot of time, but I worked backwards. I would say whichever day I wanted to launch. I came up with a checklist, so I was like, okay, everything that I need to do before launch, I write it down and I would reverse engineer it and put it into my calendar with like when I wanted everything to be done by. So like, for example, when did I want the theme to be implemented by? Put it on the calendar. When did I need my scheduling system to be set up? Put it in the calendar. When did I need my like G Suite like email domains to be set up? Put it in the calendar. And I would work backwards so that I made sure that I had everything that I needed to be done. Logo, legal stuff, all of that. Put that in your calendar. No matter what type of business you are trying to create, if you want to be successful and put it in your calendar, that is what I would recommend. Another thing I want to touch base on is, how did I promote my services? A lot of people are probably wondering, if you guys are starting consultations, how do you promote these services? Like, how are you going to actually get clients? How are you going to announce that you're starting this? And for me, I really wanted to make sure that I was doing something a little different than other people, like highlighting those differences. When I originally looked at consulting services, a lot of people do courses, or they'll do like long boot camps where it's like a group of 50 people, a group of 20 people, and you pay like $1,000 for this like 4-week boot camp, and you have like one-on-one calls with the instructor, but like you're doing it with a lot of people, or you're paying like $300 for a course that you buy, and then you're in a Facebook group, or you're doing a consultation like a 4-week consultation, recurring consultations, and they cost like $300 each, and it's whatever. I've seen a lot of those, so I decided that I wanted to market mine as, you only need one. Like, you really only need one consultation. That's it. Some people just need a push. Some people just need 1 hour, and that's it. I don't want to take people's money, $500 for 4 weeks if they only need one. So I tried marketing it that way, and I tried announcing to my followers like, hey guys, if you want to speak with me just 1 hour a day, that's it, $75. Here's my link. Schedule it. I had the advantage, I had a following. Other things that I did though that I never really talk about on YouTube is at my co-working space, for example. I have a co-working space that has a networking board, and so I would always write in there like, hey guys, this is what I'm offering, these are my services, if anyone needs it. I would ask people if anyone needs any social media helps, just contact me, let me know. I would actually get clients that way as well. I also was on a lot of people's podcasts. Podcasting helps so much. So on other people's podcasts, they would ask me questions about what I do, what my consulting services are, and I would announce on the podcast so that their listeners would then come to me. I actually got a ton of people from podcasting as well, and not from my own, but from being a guest on others. I hosted a skill pop class, so using my expertise with what I am consulting on, I did a whole class about everything that I know about building your personal brand, and people that loved the class then asked me if they could hire me for consulting, and I would send them to my link. So I think it's just putting your information out there for free, putting yourself out there no matter what platforms you have, even if you don't have a big following. Putting it out there and sharing your knowledge to a group of people is just going to increase their trust in you, and they're going to want to hire you because they already trust you, because they already got value from what you were putting out in the first place. I think putting out all your value for free and then building that trust and getting those clients is something that's really, really, really helpful. So if you are doing consultations and you are starting a consulting business, one of the biggest things that I suggest is to already have a website where you have a blog, have a LinkedIn, have a YouTube channel where you're already talking about what you are consulting about, to show that you actually are an expert in that, and then people will come to you. I think a lot of people are scared because they're like, I'm gonna give away everything for free and then no one's gonna want to hire me. But the opposite is actually true. People are gonna realize that you actually know what you're talking about, and they're gonna want to hire you. Now I want to talk technical. What tools I use, all my apps that I use. So the first one is obviously Squarespace. Highly, highly, highly recommend. I cannot recommend it enough. I think that it is the best website builder, like I've said before, and all of these other tools that I'm going to mention are all integrated so nicely into Squarespace, and that is why Squarespace is the superior website builder. I use Squarespace for my website. I also use their scheduling. So I also use Squarespace scheduling. So it's really, really easy. Basically, all you do is implement it into your site. It's literally like a calendar option. Like, it's so easy. And then on your site, you can actually start taking bookings, and you can do the payment on there. You can do the, like, you can block off times on there. You can make them fill out forms. You can make them agree to terms and conditions. Like, it is so seamless and so integrated. So I do use their scheduling software, which is another reason why I just really love them, how easily everything is integrated. So I don't need to keep buying these like third-party sites and stuff. I can really just use Squarespace and have everything kind of in one dashboard, which is so nice, you guys, because when you do have a business, when you do have a consulting business or any business in general, it doesn't have to be consulting, you know that you have like 30 tabs up and it's like your email, this app, this app, this app, this app. It's just really nice that it's kind of all in one. Email marketing campaigns and building email lists is another thing that I use, and that's also integrated into Squarespace. I sound like a broken record, guys, but it's just genuinely because I really like them and I want to help you guys out. I used to use another email marketing website, and it was just so complicated. I hated having separate billing for that. I hated that I just like didn't understand it. It wasn't as intuitive, I think Squarespace is. So I actually ditched that, got rid of it, switched my email list over to Squarespace, and now I am building my email list on Squarespace. I have a whole email list, so whenever people download a document from my website, whenever they download my monthly budget, whenever they sign up for an appointment with me, I collect their email and bring them onto my email list. So this is just great because whenever you do have other announcements in the future, you can send it out to those people because you know that those people already have interacted with your stuff before. And lastly, I use Zoom. So Zoom is super popular right now. I feel like when I first started consultations, people didn't know what Zoom was. I didn't really know what Zoom was when I first started. Zoom is now a household name. Anyways, I use Zoom for my consultations. Again, whenever I schedule on Squarespace, it automatically creates a Zoom link and it sends it to me and to the person that booked it. So we both have the link in our calendars, and it integrates it with Google Calendar as well. Auto generates a Zoom link and we're good to go. So it's really easy, really seamless again, and that's just the biggest thing. I recommend trying to find the most seamless ways to do things, because if you're constantly emailing back and forth with clients, it can get really confusing. Now I want to talk about costs. Squarespace is $216 a month for the business annual plan. I am paying for the annual plan, but it starts as cheap as $12 a month. If you guys are interested in the more basic plan, which I still think is really good, you guys can always start off that way. But I have good news for you. I have 10% off your first purchase or your domain. You can go to squarespace.com/NatalieBarbu or just put Natalie Barbu in the promo code. So I am paying $216 yearly. That is an annual fee, and I have renewed it already for 2 years. So yeah, definitely not planning on leaving that host anytime soon. The theme was a one-time fee of $180, but again, all of Squarespace's themes are free. If you do want a third-party theme, which you do not have to, then that, for me personally, it was $180. A domain, I actually have 2 domains that lead to the same exact website, which is nataliebarbu.com and barbuagency.com. I wanted both of them because I really want to start branding it as Barbu Agency, but nataliebarbu.com is also, it's kind of like my website. I bought both of the domains, and it is $20 a year for each domain, so I'm paying $40 a year for that domain. The scheduling that I'm paying for is $15 a month, so even though it's integrated into Squarespace, you do have to pay for it if you do decide to use it. So it's 15 bucks a month, literally the best $15 a month that you will spend. The Zoom that I use is free. I don't pay for any premium Zoom membership because it's usually just one-on-one consultations. I also pay for Google Drive storage just because I do keep everything on Google Drive, and that is $2 a month. It's so cheap. I also paid for some legal fees. With going into consulting, I recommend getting some terms and conditions, getting a lawyer. You just never want anyone to sue you, anyone to claim that you're not doing something that you promised them. So I lay it all out in the terms and conditions. I had a lawyer make that for me, and his rate was $350 an hour. It's expensive, so I paid $700 for a contract, which was the terms and conditions that I have everyone agree to before they are allowed to book my services. So that was a one-time fee of $700. So each year I will be paying about $460 a year, and then the one-time fees were $980 starting off the bat. Of course, you don't need a lawyer, you don't need to buy a theme. I'm just letting you guys know what I did and what I recommend if you guys are starting a business. Another thing I want to touch on is how to determine your rate. So one thing that I want to mention is once you figure out how much you are spending a year, you want to make sure that you are making that and more. Kind of working backwards again. What is your ideal lifestyle? What is your ideal monthly rate? How many clients would you need if you charge this amount? What is your ideal monthly income? And then how many clients you want to take a week, and then how much you would have to charge to get to your ideal income. That is the best way to do it. You might have to fluctuate because I know some people are like, I want to make $300,000 a year. And then you're going to have to be charging a lot of money for your consultations because there's only so much time in a day. So really think about it as one consultation. How much do you think is fair? You can look at other people and how much they're charging and see if you want to do better than them, but you also have to take into account that everyone charges differently based on their own experience, based on their audience, based on so many things. So I think the best way is to work backwards and figure out how much you want to be making from this, how many people you want to see, what's your mental capacity for clients, and all of that good stuff. So I hope that answered your questions on how to start a consulting business. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. And I wanted to thank Squarespace again for helping me with this video and for sponsoring this video. You guys know I love them. Everyone knows I've talked about them how many times, I don't even know. But thank you again to Squarespace. If you guys want 10% off, I'll have the link down below. But I will see you guys in my next video. And if you guys are starting a consulting business, drop it in the comments.